Hello students, today we will take up another very important topic of Aristotle's poetics, and it deals with imitation. This theory of imitation actually was not invented by Aristotle. It was Plato who first used the term in connection with poetry, but Aristotle breathes into it a new life and meaning so that poetic imitation no longer remains a mere mimicry or a mere act of copying, but it becomes an act of imaginative creation. For this purpose, we will first of all try to understand as to what does Aristotle means by his theory of imitation and how he differs from Plato. Aristotle says that imitation is the common principle of all fine arts. In his opinion, imitation is the common principle, and it may be a poetry, comedy, tragedy, dancing, music, flute playing, painting, sculpture, etc. They all are modes of imitation. Though imitation is the common principle of all fine arts, these various arts differ from each other in three ways. They differ in their medium of imitation, in their object of imitation, or in their manner of imitation. Now, first of all, we will do what is the medium of imitation in which they differ from each other. By means of imitation are meant the medium, the vehicle of imitation. As for example, a painter uses colors, or a poet, he uses language, and a musician uses melody. So, all three imitate, but they use various vehicles or materials to imitate. Now, we will do as to how they differ on the basis of their object of imitation. Aristotle says that the objects of poetic imitation are man in action. He says imitation is not a mere photographic representation of the surface of things, but a creative process, and that is why it represents men. Or poetry does not imitate man as such, but man doing or experiencing something. A poet may idealize or he may caricature men, and this is the difference between tragedy and comedy. Tragedy idealizes men as better or higher, and comedy caricatures, that is, it shows men as worse than they actually are. Now, the arts further distinguished from each other by their manner of imitation. There may be three modes or ways of imitation. The poet may use the narrative method, or He may use the dramatic method or a combination of both. He may narrate a part of his story and represent part of it through a dialogue between assumed characters. On the basis of the manner of imitation, poetry is further classified into epic or narrative or dramatic. In dramatic poetry, the dramatic personages act the story. In epic poetry, a poet narrates the story as well as tells it through a dialogue between assumed characters. To sum up, Aristotle classifies the fine arts on the basis of their medium of imitation, their object of imitation, and their manner of imitation. Thank you.